So here we are in a little Dumbarton house. It's technically 3 levels. Most parts of the country they'd consider it a 2-story house with a basement. There's the basement, but it's been gutted out and made bright and has these doors to the patio. Now people in other parts of the country will realize that's a giant compressor sitting there, so obviously this is a noisy patio if you are outside entertaining. But it is kind of big, it's deep enough, there's a grill there, there's a locked door, there's a kind of wooded, leafy footpath behind it, which makes you hope that it has a parking space, because parking spaces are very valuable in DC. They can sell for up to $100,000 for garage space, and easily $30,000 for an outside parking space. And everybody wants one. It also makes your property more valuable, makes it more valuable than the property and the parking space are separately, which is why when people buy new condo, townhome type things, if they can buy a parking space in a garage nearby, they do it, and they'll roll it into their loan and they'll pay anything for it, which is how they got bid up to be $75,000 to $100,000 for little garage spaces in a condo. This house is on 29th Street, and it has the kitchen in the basement, which is not an unknown thing in DC. Usually you see it only in the older sections of town, where the kitchen was always in the basement, and the house is so small that when they renovated it, they could not figure out how to move it upstairs. So they just left it in the basement. This video is going to jiggle a little because I'm trying to figure out how to lock the back door with one hand, and I think it's going to turn out that the answer is can't be done, and I'll just have to come back and do it later. Anyway, Capitol Hill, Georgetown, other older neighborhoods frequently have this kitchen in the basement. It's a table space kitchen because they use the whole basement. It has this sink, which everybody considers to be really fashionable. And it has this ventilation, a Zephyr. But someone stripped out the switch that you would actually use to turn it on, so I can't show you what it looks like lit. It's the exact same ventilation fan that existed in the Georgetown condo we just did a picture of. Always a lot of security. So when they turned this, what probably was a kitchen, it's a basement, it has a brick floor, they painted it white. When they turned it into a kitchen, or kept it as a kitchen, turned it into a modern kitchen, they ended up with a big storage closet and all this little extra space. So they put in a wet bar, very Georgetowny because everybody does cocktails. They put in a half bath. This is really standard in DC, where there's so many small apartments and houses. This is a little microscopic sink. It is literally, this sink, I don't know how to show you this. It's only about as big as my iPad, the surface of this sink. It has a window, which is nice. Here's a window to the outside. It's 29th Street, and that's notable. And they had enough room to put in fairly modern washer and dryer. We're at 29th and Dumbarton. Dumbarton is the street that Henry Kissinger, I think, owned a house on and lived on in, I guess, the late 70s and also early 80s. Ed Crane, I think, rented a house on that street. Ed Crane, who brought the Cato Institute from California to DC, and I think he rented somehow a few doors down from where Henry Kissinger lived. I also dated somebody once who was older than me and was about to pass away. I owned a house on 29th near Dumbarton, and morbidly sometimes I think about the fact that I might have owned that house if only things had gone a different way, but they didn't. This is interesting. Oh, you can't see it for the reflection. It's a little painting that says "Discover the Rewards of Thinking Light." That's kind of funny. So upstairs, here's the living room. There really isn't a dining room. And this is just a giant foyer or a salon or a parlor or kind of second piece of living room. Nice fireplaces everywhere. Old windows, and they're single pane. These are single pane windows. These are not energy efficient. And this is all single pane, even though it's newer. This is looking down onto the little area we're just in. These are the neighbor houses. Frequently in DC you see these houses that have a star on them. And these ones you can see are actually painted very nicely to contrast with the house. The stars are a decorative nut on the end of a bolt. There's a rod through that house, just like a bolt, because it's such an old house. There's a rod to keep it from bowing out. The house is actually losing its square shape and the walls are bowing out. And so to keep the house together and keep it from falling apart, they put a steel rod through it and then put a bolt on each side, and the bolts are usually in DC shaped like stars. So this is an incredibly small bedroom, and it has a Murphy bed inserted into the wall. It tells me not to open the Murphy bed, so I'm not going to show you the Murphy bed. For those of you who live in parts of the country where you would never have a bedroom this teeny and would never have a Murphy bed, as opposed to a rollaway cot or an air bed or just an extra bedroom or two, you'll have to Google Murphy bed to see what a Murphy bed is. Murphy beds have become very complicated, sometimes now. So here's the bathroom. It's got the skylight. This, of course, is how you used to ventilate a bathroom to let the steam out before there were electric fans. Anyway, Murphy beds now frequently have fold-up chairs slid into them and fold-up tables built under them. It's quite a cute bathroom. It's got a little shelf in the shower. I always like the shelf in the shower. The sink is quite attractive. Anyway, it's a very attractive house. I think it must be someone's pied-à-terre because no one seems to really live here, but there's a little dry cleaning and a little groceries here and a few books. But the water and the internet and the electricity's on, the internet's off, the TV's off, and the water doesn't seem to be have been used. It's working, but it doesn't seem to have been used. I didn't realize I turned on a light for this closet. This closet actually is an illuminated closet, which is always nice. Anyway, about the oh look, they're doves. Huh, and I scared them. This is very Washingtonian look. Someone's got their little presidential history headlines through time up through Barack Obama. And they've got their little historical, this is also Georgetown, little historical French language magazine covers over their bed. This is kind of old-fashioned, old lady Georgetown-y taste. It's nice. I can actually see this house looking like this when Henry Kissinger did live around the corner. Although the kitchen and bathroom have definitely been redone more recently. Anyway, kitchens and basement. It's because people used to have servants, and the servants cooked downstairs and then brought you your food up to the floor where you were going to eat it. In D.C. and Kalorama, which is the Embassy Row neighborhood, you can also find neighborhoods where there are small doors that are a servant's entrance into the kitchen. But it's even true in one-bedrooms and even studios and efficiencies. They have an extra door, a door that's about 2/3 the width of a normal door, and it goes into the kitchen. Anyway, let's see the street, this kind of ruling class street, and see what it looks like. Nice built-in bookshelves. They're always prominent. Built-in bookshelves, always prominent in a Georgetown home, because you need to show people that besides going to Yale or Harvard Law, you also read a lot and you're an intelligent person, and that's why you're well informed. You have all your books that are by presidential historians and things to show that you know what's going on and you can rule the world. So we're between Olive Street, which is vaguely N Street, and Dumbarton, which is, that is N Street. Dumbarton's one block north. Anyway, it's a kind of ruling class neighborhood. It actually looks a little, this particular patch here, just because there's some lush greenery, this actually reminds me of the Garden District in New Orleans. And the little creaky, beaten up wrought iron. Anyway, the house that we were in is this beige one. Beige or olive. I'm not quite sure what color that is. It's got a sister house next door that's almost identical, although they, I think, turned that little kitchen into an actual basement apartment. There's some steep steps going down to it. Anyway, that's our house for only 1.2 something, almost 1.3 million dollars. It's nice. I just think a lot of people in other parts of the country will be shocked to see that a house for over 1.2 million dollars is a barely 2-bedroom, no parking, 1.5 bath house where your kitchen is in the basement, and you either have to eat down there at a teeny table space kitchen, or you'd have to bring your grocery, your dinner upstairs here and eat it in the living room. But that's pretty standard for Washington.